I'm Mark.
And I'm Josh.
And this is Alter Ego Comics TV, episode number 193. It is the week of Valentine's Day. So we're highlighting some very cool gifts that you can give to your beloved spouse, child, whatever. These are Batman and Robin teddy bears made by the Gund Company. So they are super soft, they are super cool, and they're very affordable. Come get them. Yes. Actually, Josh he pointed something out when we first ordered these a little ways back. I thought it would be super cool for a kid to have the Robin bear.
Oh, yeah.
Where the kid could be
then
Batman.
Be Batman.
The kid can be Batman, and he's got his sidekick, Robin Bear.
Doesn't have to be a kid. Anyone who wants to be Batman can have a Robin Bear sidekick.
Josh is issuing a cry for help. He wants both of these. He wants just Robin so he can be Batman. Obviously. Or maybe Batman so he can be Robin. I don't know.
You know, I'm flexible.
But anyway, we thought we'd bring these guys in and just hang out with us while we shoot this week's episode. Alright, my pick of the week. I'll try not to lose my voice. I'm battling some sort of plague that's infecting all of Allen County, Ohio. Except the people in my office. It's just me.
So far.
So far, yes. Darth Vader, #1. Star Wars continues to dominate everything. Marvel launches their second ongoing Star Wars book. It takes place concurrently with the other Star Wars title that they put out. This is written by Kieran Gillen, drawn by Salvador Larroca, and is all kinds of awesome. So this is the first ongoing series for Darth Vader. Picks up after the end of episode 4 and is super cool. It mentions things that are going on over in the other Star Wars books, so that's kind of nifty. You find out that one of the people that was on the Death Star in the film, episode 4, survived and was not on the Death Star when it blew up, and now that person is going to be Darth Vader's boss for the foreseeable future. So that was neat too. The Emperor is here. We get
so it wasn't Obi-Wan.
Maybe. Maybe not. Jabba the Hutt is here. All your favorites.
Boba Fett?
All your favorites are here. Yes, Boba Fett is in this. And really, Gillen does a great job with the scripting, but I think Larroca steals the show here with his artwork.
It's very solid.
It's like you're looking at stuff right off of the screen. And he's a very talented artist. He was very skilled at making Tony Stark look like Sawyer from Lost on the Matt Fraction run of Iron Man. But Salvador Larroca is a great artist, and I think his skills really shine through with Darth Vader. So this is another, enthusiastic thumbs up, I think, from everybody at Team Alter Ego for Darth Vader #1.
Alright. Also on the other media adaptation front, we've got Dark Horse's Conan Red Sonja issue 2. I liked the first issue. I actually like this issue even more because we see the way the story is going to be structured. It's jumping ahead chronologically. So last issue we saw the first meeting of Conan Red Sonja. This issue takes place several years later, and both of them moved on. And it's also interacting with stuff we've seen in the other books. We've got Belit?
Belit?
I don't know how to say it, but
Belosh.
the Queen of Belosh. they call me Belosh. The Belosh. The Queen of the Black Cloak is in here, and Sonja's sidekick from the slave pits that we saw in the first arc of Simone's Red Sonja is in here. And it also, while it is a separate story that tells its own part of the tale, it also does have tie-in stuff for an overarching plot going on through the whole miniseries. And plus, it's Conan and Red Sonja during their pirate days, which is kind of the most awesome part of the Conan story. So, another great pickup. You may have noticed that the Conan board game kickstarted for the tune of $3.3 million the other day. So Conan is on the rise. People are thinking about it, and it's awesome from Gail Simone and Jim Zub this week.
And we're still expecting a King Conan movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger at some point.
That's the word. Yeah, I don't know
that is one word. Yes.
How that's going.
What word? Pick a word. Thor art is out 2 weeks after Thor #4, and this is actually a standalone issue. We have guest art by Jorge Molina, and Russell Dauterman will be back with the next issue. But this is a nice kind of catch-up sort of issue, and we find out that Odin is crazy.
We always knew Odin was crazy.
Odin in the movies is not a lot like Odin in the comics. The Odin in the comics has wild mood swings. Like he's very protective and fatherly sometimes, and then he's just a bastard most of the other times. And he is all fired up about the new female Thor and is out to get her. Wants to find out who it is. How dare she pick up his son's hammer and take on the mantle of Thor? And that doesn't exactly sit well with Thor Odinson and his mother. They're both like, whatever. You know, Thor Odinson has given his blessing to the new Lady Thor, whatever we want to call her. So a lot of this is Odin trying to figure out who this new person is wielding Mjolnir, and he's teamed up with his evil brother, who is not evil anymore. He's reformed, kind of, sort of, as the new Minister of Justice for Asgardia.
Even the best of the Asgardian gods are kind of on the evil side.
They kind of are, yeah. Yeah. But Molina's artwork is very cool in this. I was glad to see the return of Titania and Absorbing Man. Actually, there's a nice scene between the new Thor and Absorbing Man in here. And Titania, actually, too.
Yes,
so this series has been rocking since the beginning, and kudos to all of you who have stuck with it. Our numbers are really solid, and I know that's the same way throughout the entire industry, so you're not going to want to miss this one either. And then we've got the annual coming up. Is that next week or the following week?
It's soon.
It's soon, and that's the debut of CM Punk as a comic book writer. So we've actually gotten a number of calls already about that.
It's an anthology story, so there's multiple stories in the same annual issue, one of which is written by CM Punk.
Right.
For those of you who are concerned about CM Punk's ability to write, the rest of the stuff could still.
There you go.
Also out this week, we've got part 2 of the Black Vortex. This is Guardians of the Galaxy 24, written by Brian Bendis, with art by Mr. Shitty. Valerio Schiti? I don't know. Schiti. Pronounce that how you will. And I enjoyed the first part of the Black Vortex. I really like this issue, and I have to believe that the reason that this one was better than the previous one for me, beyond the fact that the story is escalating and the conflict's getting bigger, is Bendis' writing. Bendis writes this group of characters, the X-Men, the Guardians of the Galaxy, better than anyone working today, and it really shows how awesome he is at his job. One, spoiler alert, a lot of the people on this cover are not in the issue. For example, Cosmo. I'm sad about it. I know you're sad about it. Just move on. The issue itself is still good. And we get to see some pretty serious conflict and friction in Kitty and Peter's relationship. I'm sorry, Peter Quill, because she dates everyone named Peter in the Marvel Universe.
Yes.
Which was also part of the kind of emotional core of the story. So, very cool. Black Vortex is looking to be an awesome crossover in the Galactic X universe.
Excellent. We haven't had a really strong...
No, not in some time.
No. Speaking of strong events, Spider-Verse wraps up this week in Amazing Spider-Man number 14. Apparently there is an epilogue in the next issue of Amazing Spider-Man, but for all intents and purposes, Spider-Verse wraps up here. So we get a huge battle royal between all of the Spider people and the Inheritors. Lots of cool stuff happens. You're not going to want to miss it if you've been reading Spider-Verse. I don't know why you wouldn't pick this up. If you haven't, this might not be the best place to start. But I'm just telling you, Spider-Verse finishes up this week, and it was a nice wrap-up. It was a nice conclusion to an amazing storyline, no pun intended. Also, apparently, there's some possible Easter eggs and setups for Secret Wars in here.
Yeah.
From what I've been told. And if you're a fan of the movie Willow, you may notice a similarity in this comic to that classic film. That's all I'll say, and I'll be happy to talk about that with you if you come see me in the shop.
Because the only Willow fans in the world are you and me.
Yes.
And Ron Howard,
and
maybe.
Val Kilmer and Warwick Davis. Who's standing right here.
Yeah, he's behind Robin. That's cool. We've got Spider-Woman number 4. This says Spider-Verse on the cover, and it does sort of bring in the end of the Spider-Verse series, but this basically takes place afterwards. So if you're reading them both, you want to read the Amazing issue first, and then read Spider-Woman. And this sort of wraps up the stuff going on both with Jessica Drew, with Silk, and who's the... Oh, Gwen. Spider-Gwen in the Inheritors universe during Spider-Verse, and what is going to happen to Jessica Drew going forward. If you've seen the previews for the next issue, she's got a new costume and sort of a completely different look, and as we can see in this issue, she's making some changes in her life, and that's going to change the direction for how she is a hero going forward. And I really liked it. I mean, a lot of the reason I checked out Spider-Woman initially was Spider-Verse. You know, it was a cool crossover. I wanted to read all the parts, and I was questioning whether or not I was going to stick with it when it was over, but this issue got me on board, and I want to see what happens next issue. So, also out this week, just sort of an FYI, is the Image First Compendium. And this is volume 1, so I guess we may see more someday.
Maybe.
But basically, Image has taken 9 of their most popular titles and stuck the first issue together in a nice trade format. It's on good binding, nice paper, and 9 issues, several of which, well, 2 or 3 of which are oversized for $5.99. That's just ridiculous. That's like 75 cents an issue. And so you've got Witches, Outcast, which is the big one from Kirkman, the creator of The Walking Dead. You've got Nailbiter, which we've been raving about. Southern Bastards from Jason Aaron. The Fade Out, which is Brubaker's latest
noir book.
Collaboration with Sean Phillips, but yes, also a noir book, and it's super awesome. Wicked and the Divine, The Low from Rick Remender, Shudder by Joe Keating, and Cowl by Kyle Higgins. And this is great for anybody. I don't care who you are. If you aren't reading these books, check it out. And I promise at least one of these should be up your alley. But it's especially good for your Marvel or your DC fans. You know, you've been reading Jason Aaron's awesome run on Thor. You've been reading Rick Remender on Uncanny Avengers. You've been reading Scott Snyder on Batman. You've been reading, Brubaker's awesome Captain America Winter Soldier run that was the inspiration for the movie. This is your chance to check out a lot of their work in their own universes, the stuff where they own it, the stuff they're really passionate about, and you can get it on the ground floor or near the ground floor and check those out for a really low price point.
Well, the nice thing about there's a lot to love about this. First off, you're getting 9 real quality comics for the price of 2 comics.
Right.
And if you like any of these, the first volumes of all of these, except
the
Witches
Fade Out
and the Fade Out. Okay, a lot of these first volumes are available.
If there's not a first volume out, we're very close to there being
it will
one
be
available.
So if you like a handful of these, you can pick up the first volume and continue to read them, or jump in with the single issues. Really got to applaud Image for doing this, and I hope it does well. I hope it gets into the hands of people who are looking to try something new and exciting. And as you mentioned, every writer on here has had a hit either at DC or Marvel, or both. And this is a chance to check out, as Josh said, their creator-owned content, the stuff that they're really passionate about. Not that they're not passionate about the the mainstream work, but there's something to be said for having control over your characters and what happens to them.
Absolutely. Okay.
So yeah, you want to talk about this other thing?
No,
or we want to wait? No? Okay. Well, we got something else we'll talk about next time. There's always something to talk about. Let's give them something to talk about. That's it for this week. Thank you for your continued viewership as we barrel towards episode number 200. If you're local, keep your eye on our Facebook page. We should be announcing Free Comic Book Day stuff very soon. And we did announce that we're one of 12 stores in the country participating in the in-store convention kickoff on Saturday, March 7th. So that will be here in the shop. Details are still coming on that. We're working with lots of folks across the country, but the instigator of this is out of Florida. So we're just waiting on some more details, but that should be a lot of fun. And there'll be some sales and other kinds of stuff going on that day. And hopefully next week my voice will be back to normal and I won't be coughing the entire episode. So thanks for putting up with that. We'll see you next time.